Now we start.
Hey, hey everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to the Mental Health Minute with myself, Dr. Candace, and Dr. Tyra. Welcome everyone. We are so excited about our show today. Dr. T, you want to tell them about the show today before we do our intros?
Oh, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome, Dr. Candace. How are you today?
I am good.
Child, so today's show is going to be about should I carry the load?
Good
Okay.
topic. Deep topic.
hmm
I can't
Very
wait to
deep
dive.
topic. Very deep topic because the thing is when we are in relationships, sometimes we be so invested in our partner's information and things that they have going on to the point where we lose lose sense of self and we put ourselves into their situation. And so today we're going to talk about that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Before we get started, I want to just do a little warm introduction of who I am. I am Dr. Candace Lane, a clinical psychologist here in California, and my specialty is personal development, mindset coaching, and relationship mindset, everything relationship. Either you're looking for a man, trying to find a man to get rid of one. Here I am, Dr. Candace Lane.
And I am Dr. Tyra Gardner. I am a psychotherapist specializing in anger management. I also work with individuals who might have issues with anxiety, depression, anything with relationships. Also, I also do addictions. Also, and and professional development and personal development. I am your anger doctor. I am your lifestyle therapist.
Yes, she is. So you have anger issues, please go. Go see her. Talk to her. Talk to her. And after you finish going to Dr. T about the anger issues, come on over here so we can get your relationship on point.
Exactly.
Absolutely. So this topic hits home basically for both of us, for many women and men. Men sometimes carry the load as well. And what Dr. T explained earlier, should I carry the load? So for the sake of this broadcast, everyone,
Mhm,
we're talking about carrying the load within relationships. So when you talking about
mhm,
carrying the load with your mama, with your cousin, with your sister, with your relatives, we're talking about for this broadcast carrying the load with relationships. So
mhm,
let's dive into it. So let
mhm.
me ask T, when you started in the beginning, carrying the load, what that mean for you? Carrying the load in a romantic relationship.
Carrying the load would be somebody having a situation, some type of an issue or a problem, right? And they sharing it with me, and I automatically, oh, what can I do to fix it? How can I help you fix the problem? What can we do to change the narrative? How can I help you? Help me help you, and being engrossed in what they have going on and focusing on them, not to take control of their problem. Okay, because that's a mistake that a lot of us make, is taking control over their problem. Don't want to do that. But for me, that means just being able to find a way to navigate to try to help them with the problem that they're having.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I absolutely agree with you. And my take on that of carrying the load,
hmm
yes, we tend to, I'm going to talk about it on a woman's perspective because I'm
hmm
not a man, I'm a woman. So I got to talk about it on a woman's perspective of how some of us tend to carry the load. We tend to carry the load to where it becomes our load. You ever tried to help somebody and now that you carrying your cross and theirs? That's what
hmm
it looks like a lot of times for us, where we're carrying so much. And then sometimes we can carry the load so deep and so
hmm
heavy to
hmm
where they not worried about it. You ever carried the load so much that the person you helping, they don't care no more. They're like, oh, you say you was gonna do it. You handling it. You're
hmm
more invested. So
hmm
I think we battle with that a lot. That's
Yes.
so many, especially women. I know some of the
hmm
guys do that too, but especially the women. Now, do
hmm
you think we do it out of guilt or are we overcompensating?
I think we do it out of overcompensating, and I think we also do it out of nurturing, from having that nurturing spirit and feeling like I have to be the one to help and save everyone. And then in a relationship, when you see your mate going through something, you just automatically like, okay, I gotta fix this,
I agree.
out of a nurturing spirit. What do you
I agree.
think?
Yeah, I think we do it out of nurturing. Did you hit that on the point? I didn't even think of that. Thank you for that. Absolutely. I think we do. We do it out of nurturing, and we do it because it's also a learned behavior. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of times, and I was victim to that. I'm not ashamed to say it. Y'all know this is a mental health minute, and we keep it real on here. I am not ashamed to say it, especially in my younger days, because I didn't know any better. Know better, do better. That I overcompensated because I thought that's what you're supposed to do. When your loved one and your partner is in some type of jam, bind, whatever, you want to be the woman that, hey, I got it, so they won't go to no one else. So
Mm-hmm.
it can be nurturing, but a lot of
Right.
times it's like, I'm gonna show up because I'm
Mm-hmm.
I'm superwoman. You know
Right.
how some women do. Like I said, I have fallen victim or fell victim to that, where I'm like, I can do it, I can handle it. I'm superwoman. I'm gonna show up so he don't go to nobody else, not even his
Mm-hmm.
mama you
Right.
know so
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we do that out of being like you stated, nurturing, the
Mm-hmm.
superwoman syndrome, the
Mm-hmm.
only woman syndrome. Like, he better
Right.
not ask nobody else, I do it. You ever gave
Right.
your last
Mm-hmm.
and overcompensated so he can't go ask nobody else?
Right.
Absolutely. So there's different variants to that,
Mm-hmm.
of why we
Yes.
do it, and of course overcompensating. So that runs pretty deep. What
Mm-hmm.
so with the partner, so when is it like the drop off? Like we talked about it a little bit, but I want to go a
Mm-hmm.
little bit deeper. We called it, we're gonna call it the drop off.
Mm-hmm.
When you are carrying the load for your
Mm-hmm.
partner and your partner drop it off, whether it be man or woman, because
Right.
men go through this as well. So
Mm-hmm.
let's talk about the drop off and how that could affect our mental health when we're the one, say you're the one,
Mm-hmm.
we are,
Mm-hmm.
pick up the load from our partner, and then our
Mm-hmm.
partner drop it off like, hey, that's all you now, and they out living their
Mm-hmm.
best life, and we still carrying they cross. It's called the
Mm-hmm.
drop off. Yeah,
Right.
so let's talk about that. What you feel about the drop off, T?
I feel that at that point, you have to take control over the situation, right? And decide that you're not going to pick up and take over that. That you're not going to take over their issue or their concern. And where they might have dropped something off to you, no, I'm not taking that. And that's when you have to, reframe your thinking, and you have to start focusing mainly on yourself and letting them know I'm not doing this. You know what I mean? If you're not concerned, why am I? And that's when you have to start asking yourself that question and starting to see what you can do to make that change occur. Because the thing is, we spend too much time focusing on other people's situations, to the point where it's like, okay, if you got kids in the house, you got to focus on your kids' situation. If you got parents in the house, you got to focus on their situations. I'm not taking no more burdens.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when you
Absolutely.
have to decide what you will engage yourself in, what matters. And if it's not mattering to them, why should it matter to you?
Exactly. Now, what with that being said, and I totally agree with you, but how about this, Dr. T? What if he or she is
Hmm.
already picked it up, partner then dropped it off?
Hmm.
What we do? Do we
Well,
say, come get your stuff? Because what if we don't know how? Now it's affecting our mental state. I got my
hmm
baggage and his. His mama sick and I'm caring for his mama, and he don't call and show up. He
hmm
don't call. He don't show up. I'm taking food. I'm paying for the caregivers. I'm more worried about her. When she went to the hospital, I was there. He at work or he playing golf. He
hmm
living his best life. What I
hmm
do?
So when there's a situation like that, that's when you have to let him know and tell him, that's your parent. You need to step up to the plate. Now, if they have any siblings or anybody else around, then yes, that's when you have to, call for a family meeting and allow them to start taking control over their loved one. You're not saying that you're going to go in total neglect mode, but what you're saying is right now, I need help and this is not my responsibility.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It sounds like, yeah, I like that. It sounds like placing boundaries. That's what it sounds like. It sounds
Yep, exactly.
Yeah,
That's exactly what it is. Placing
it
those
sounds like
boundaries.
you're saying place some boundaries, put something somewhere. Absolutely. Okay. How about the burden? Let's talk a little bit about the burden. The burden of that and how it can affect our mental health, the burden of both parties, the burden of taking care of someone or financial. It's a financial burden. Let's go into it financially.
Hmm.
What we do about that, where
So,
someone's your
hmm
loved one, your partner,
hmm
they when you met them, they were able to maintain and sustain.
hmm hmm
Now they're having a little trouble. That's
hmm
fine. We help. That's our
hmm
partner. That's our man,
hmm
our husband, whatever you want to call them. So
hmm
we help. How about when it becomes a burden to us or to them
hmm
as well, and
hmm
they're not able to reciprocate and they're not even trying?
Mm.
Picking
That's a
up the
good
load.
question.
Should
That's
I
a good,
carry the load? Where do we draw the line where we shouldn't carry that load, that
and that's
burden?
the financial load.
Yes.
So with that, it's, you definitely have to look at the situation as a whole. Look at both ends of the situation to see exactly what it is. Now, if the person is basically hanging out, doing what they want to do, living their best life, and spending up all the money doing things that's not, conducive to the lifestyle that y'all lead in regards to paying the bills and everything, then that's a problem. That's a really big problem, right? And that's when you have to sit down and ask yourself, am I willing to continue on with this, with this relationship? Am I willing to continue paying all the bills? You know what I mean? At this point, you look up and you see your savings depleting, and this person, they don't care. So, but at that point, that's when you have to say, okay, either we sit down and negotiate this out, or an exit strategy has to become in place, because I can't live like this. And then that's when you have to make the decision on how do you choose to move forward with this relationship. Do I choose to stay in it, or do I choose to continue footing all the bills and everything, or do I leave?
Yeah, very good. That was beautifully said. And you know what? I don't know. I'm pretty sure if you noticed this too, Dr. T, because I know I have experienced it, especially a lot with the women that I counsel, especially with relationships. A lot of them are in that bind and in that situation. They are carrying the load and they are carrying the financial load. And I have noticed and I have seen, especially during this pandemic, that it has become the norm and it's okay. It's okay. And it's not okay, but it's become the norm for some women that they are saying it's okay because they're like, well, it's been a pandemic, so that's been an excuse. Or it's an excuse one after another, or the woman doesn't want to be alone. You know, we do a lot of things out of loneliness. Don't want to be alone, or that's one, or two, don't want to start over. We don't want to start over and don't want to be alone is two different things. So a lot of us don't want to start over because we can imagine the dating scene now and what's going on, especially in 2022. You know, who can you trust? What's going on? We can imagine how it's going now. So a lot of women, so I'm going to speak from a women's standpoint, that they pick up the burden and they take the financial slack, especially now during this pandemic, not wanting to be alone or don't want to start over. You agree? What you think?
I would have to say I agree, because what's happening is a lot of people, I actually just had this discussion with some folks the other day in regards to this, and one of the issues that came up was not wanting to meet anyone new, because they're like, outside, like, I'll just stick with what I got, because if I have to go start over, it's not good. The dating pool out there is nothing but like guppies out there. There's nothing, guppies or sharks. You either gonna get something that, is right, something that's not right. And they're like, and when you think about it, it's just like you just have to, take a chance and hope that the one that you're with, or the one that you are pursuing, will do all of the right things. Not saying that they will, but you're just hoping and praying that they will, and so with that being said, is a lot of people that are staying in situationships because they don't want to lose what they have.
I totally agree with you. So that, like, when do we draw the line on that? Where is the line? Where is the line? I know that's hard. That's even hard for me. Like for you, where do you
Mhm.
draw the line? Is that hard for you? Because it's just hard to kind of
Mhm.
grasp. It's like because you want to help, and we
Mhm.
are nurturing, and like I said,
Mhm.
even the men, because the men that
Yes.
watch this broadcast, I don't want the men to come on. Like we're not man bashing at all. We for the
Right.
brothers.
Right.
This is for everyone. But
Mhm.
where do we draw the line? That
Mhm.
where should I carry that load? Because
Mhm.
am I, because sometimes you look at it and you give it the side eye. Am I being
Mhm.
used? Is
Mhm.
this genuine?
Right.
Are they just using me because I'm helping? Are they just keeping me around because I do carry the load? Like,
Mhm.
where do we draw that line?
Right.
You stated a good point. Hey, boundaries.
Mhm.
The problem with boundaries, which actually worded that wrong, there is no problem with boundaries.
Right.
However, there is a problem with boundaries is some of us don't know how to set them because none of us have never had to, never
Right.
set them, never had boundaries. So how you
Right.
gonna set something you never had? When
Right.
boundaries start with yourself. So when we asked ourselves that question, should I
Mhm.
carry the load? Some would say, I'm a ride or die chick. Of course I'm gonna help and be there. I don't
Mhm.
know, T. Let's talk about that. I'm
Right.
not a ride or die chick. You a ride or die? The reason why I say I'm not a ride or die chick, where we going and why I got to die to get there?
Hello. That's the question to ask,
What
and I'm not
ride or
doing that.
die? Where we going?
You know, and it's just like, I mean, I think sometimes when it comes to that whole word, that whole statement, it's in regards to support. But then you have to question, how much support are you willing to give, and are you willing to die for that support?
I
Because
love it.
everybody, because every situation is not meant to have support. And I've known a number of people in recent years that have had a lot of questioning, you know, questioning their own self when it becomes to support, and having to ask themselves, what is ride or die? What is support meaning looking like to me? And should I continue on with being supportive?
I love
Because
it.
there's one thing to be
Yes.
supporting, there's another one to be supportive. It's two
Yes.
different things.
Yes. Let's talk about that. This is mine. I love that T that you brought that up. Being supportive or being a sponsor. I ain't
Whoa.
nobody's sponsor. Oh yeah,
Mm.
I teach that. Yes, people. I
Mhm.
hope y'all listening. Are
Yep.
you supportive? Are you support for them? A support
Mhm.
system, as in I support you.
Mhm.
You're clapping, you the cheerleader, you like pushing them, giving, inspirational, being there and giving support, whether it be financial. But then there's one thing to be a sponsor. Now, sponsorship, they carry the load. You know how somebody say, y'all gonna be a sponsor so I can put on this event? That you didn't put out this and that, and the show can't go on unless you sponsor. I don't want to be nobody's sponsor. Because see, you're supposed to be able to live and do what you need to do without me. So are you a sponsor or are you a supporter? So that's what, so what T is saying, what that look like for you. So what does that look like for some people? So that's just a little nugget. That's a little gem y'all can take away. Am I going to be a sponsor or am I going to be supportive? There you go. I like that. That's because, at one point in time, I was a sponsor because I didn't know any better. And I'm pretty sure all of us have fallen into that. You're like, wait a minute now. I see the show don't go on if I don't show up. Have you ever been in that situation?
You know what? I've had something like that happen before, and it was just like, and I said to take a step back myself, like, no,
I
your
know.
show need to go on whether I'm here or not,
Right?
because I'm not. That's not what I'm doing.
That's right.
That's not what I'm
Absolutely.
doing at all. I'm not doing that. So I don't know what you think or where you're headed with this, but no, your show's going to go on whether I'm at the show or whether I'm somewhere else.
Absolutely. I totally get it. So that's why I say I think we have all fall under that realm before. I think
Mm-hmm.
most of us have been there. However, when you look at it and you take a step back, especially if you're self-aware, if
Mm-hmm.
you're self-aware, you say, wait a minute, I see that I'm sponsoring all this, that
Mm-hmm.
nothing happens without me. That
Mm-hmm.
means you carrying your load and theirs, and we all got our own. Absolutely. And then another one, this is another tip for the people as well. T, let me see if you agree with this. Give it from a comfortable position. Some of us don't know how to give. Some of us overcompensate, like we talked about earlier in the broadcast, that we overcompensate because we don't know how to give from a comfortable position. We give to where our cup is empty. Now you have nothing to give. Now you're drained and you're emotionally and mentally drained. Yeah, are you familiar with that? Have you had people that you had to console that don't know how to give from a comfortable position, that they
Oh,
overcompensate, and you looking at them like, whoa, that ain't yours to carry.
right. Slow down. And you see that a lot when people financially feel like they financially have to take on other people's burdens. You see that a lot. You get the phone calls, you hear all of the things where people say, "Oh, I can't afford this," and then all of a sudden the person will step up and provide them with what they need. And then after they provide them with what they need, then it's just like they look up and it's just like constantly keep coming back.
I agree with that. Do you think, in your professional opinion, that a person that is, let's call it people pleasing and overcompensating and taking on the load, do you think they may battle with poor mental health?
I do think I think they battle with poor mental health because I think is a form of social anxiety. I think is in addition to poor boundaries, poor social skills, identity crisis, all that falls under the same umbrella. And a lot of people don't really know what what the consistency of an identity crisis is,
Hmm.
so to speak. And so, because of that, they find themselves just saying and doing anything just to be accepted. Because, see, at the end of the day, that's where it comes to be poor mental health because they have all of these things going on within them in regards to self identity that you know, they pretty much do anything to get to please others. They'll do anything to please others and do anything for that acceptance and that validation.
Absolutely. I totally agree. And like Dr. Tyra stated, poor with the poor mental health, having poor boundaries and lack of self-esteem and self-awareness as well. And it's not saying that they have a mental illness. Mental, so I want to put that disclaimer out here for the broadcast for the people that's listening. Having
Mhm,
poor mental health does not mean you have a mental illness. Everyone has mental health, not everyone has a mental illness. But
mhm,
when you find yourself giving not from a comfortable position and
mhm,
overgiving and carrying the load, you
mhm,
are stepping in that pool of poor mental health.
right,
Absolutely. Because you have no boundaries. And like you
mhm,
stated, talked about the validation, the
mhm,
wanting to be accepted. Do
mhm,
you think it's for them or it's they're doing it for the other party or they doing it because how it makes them feel? Because in my opinion, I
mhm,
think they're doing it for them. I'm just gonna go on and say this, and yes, they do it to the other party for the people pleasing, just a little bit of that.
mhm,
However, I find that I want to take a deep dive here. I find that people pleasers
mhm,
mostly do, let's keep it real here, the shit
mhm,
they do for themselves, for how
mhm,
it makes them feel when they
mhm,
are helping others.
mhm. But
And
then, mhm.
and the shout outs they getting. Oh, thank you. You're so nice. You're so this and that. You spoke on validation.
But then you got to watch out for them too, because at the
Yes,
same time, they're also people who will throw it up in your face.
absolutely.
Look at what I did for you,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just like I ain't
Absolutely.
asked you to do that for me. I could have did it for my damn self. I didn't need you to do it.
You're right.
But that's exactly what they do.
Yes.
I ain't need you to do it. I could have did it for my damn self. What was that about?
Yeah. You're right.
And
You're right.
it's just like so the recipient of it is extremely happy to have had it done.
Yes.
But the other person, sometimes that person may feel a smidgen of guilt,
Okay.
just a
I
smidgen of
get that.
guilt for feeling like I guess I really shouldn't have did it. I really should have let them figure it out on their own.
I like that. Okay, I get that.
Just a
I totally get what
smidgen.
you're going through. I
Mhm,
totally get where you're
mhm,
going with that. And with that being said, you think, and I'm with you. I don't know if
mhm,
you feel this way, but after what you just said, I'm like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So
mhm,
the people pleasers and the ones that's picking up the load, we should back off. They should back off because if you allow people to be great, their wings work, let them fly.
Mm-hmm.
They'll figure it out,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The
even
thing
your
is,
partner.
yeah, because they
But we
resourceful.
feel obligated when it's our
Mm-hmm.
partner. So
Right.
that's that line in the sand. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, that's my man, or that's my husband, or that's my wife,
Mm-hmm.
or what have you. So you
Mm-hmm.
feel kind of obligated when you don't have their back.
Mm-hmm.
Because, let's ask. So let me ask you, T.
Mm-hmm.
You and
Mm-hmm.
your partner asks you to ask you for something and ask you to be there, and you're
Mm-hmm.
not there, and they go to someone else of the
Mm-hmm.
opposite sex. How would you feel about that? How would you have? I mean, is that okay with you?
No. I
Okay.
mean, my thing is, I guess I'm gonna say no. I don't agree with that.
Okay.
It would definitely be words said, about that, because at the end of the day, I want to know what the reasoning was, and
Because they came to you
why did you?
first and you said no.
Right, but if my thing is, if you're going to go to another person, then you might as well get to going. There's no
Okay.
need for us to do here because you should have been able to explain. We should have been able to have a dialogue about what happened. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Without you going to the other person, so that I can understand exactly what it is that's needed. Because you can't just come up to somebody and just say X, Y, and Z, and they just gonna all of a sudden fall for it. Now you do get some individuals that will say, "Yeah, all right," and go ahead and just give. But then if it's something that is like majorly pressing, then yeah, I want a dialogue about it. We need to talk about it. In this way, I can explain my no.
Oh, I like.
Granted,
Okay, I get what you're saying.
every no don't need an explanation. That's number one.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if the other person that they're going to is a business associate, that's different.
Okay.
If I told you no and you went to your business associate, okay, go ahead, do what you do. You know what I mean? Because at this point, this is your business associate. They're going to either do what's right for the business, or they're going to tell you no too.
Exactly. Okay, I get it. Okay.
But it just depends. Now, if it's something on a personal nature, where it's something else, then yeah, then no, it could be over.
I agree. Okay.
Nobody's doing
So
that.
I totally agree. So for me, if it's business, yes, go. And if I say no, because there's a reason why I cannot. But like you said, I'm saying no for a reason. I am. I'm saying no for a reason. So if I am saying no because I don't want to pick up the load, because I have a lot going on myself, and a lot of times we don't want to pick up the load. I don't want to carry it. So if I say no, my no is my no. My yes is my yes. And if my husband was to branch out and go ask someone else, first of all, why there's someone else around that you can ask? That's one that I'm checking. And two, yeah, I'm with you. No. But like I said, if it's business, then do what you need to do. But then I kind of go, okay, let me step back. This is a mental health minute. We keep it all the way real here. Even if it is business, still, where it's coming from. Yeah, yeah, that's me. And it's not
Yes.
insecurity. It's just that I want to know because again, carrying the load. Because see, you can carry something. You see how this cup, this ain't heavy. And I'm carrying this, and you say, Dr. C, hold that for 10 minutes. I can hold this for 10 minutes. Same cup, half water in this. I can hold this for 10 minutes. Hold it for an hour. My hand hurts. Sometimes we can carry something so small for somebody. And we like, oh, it's okay. I got it because I'm superwoman. Girl, it started to get heavy after a couple of days, after a week. Then that weeks turn into months. Those months turn into years. And now you his mama. You no longer his woman. That's all I'm saying. You can carry the load.
And you don't want to do that.
It started small. Remember, I said I pick up
Yeah,
this cup.
started from here, and then
Yeah, it starts
yeah.
small, and then the longer it starts to get heavy. Then it gets heavy on your
Mm-hmm.
heart, heavy on your
Mm-hmm.
mind. Then you start questioning you,
Mm-hmm.
and it can go two ways when we start questioning us. We
Right.
start to either elevate and say, "Wait a minute, this ain't it. This doesn't
Right.
look right. Something's
Mm-hmm.
wrong. I'm
Right.
not. This is not sitting right with my soul. I'm
Right.
starting to feel a little used. I think something going on, or we start to question who we are, as in, well, maybe this is what I deserve, or maybe this is what I'm supposed to do. So that's why this topic was such an amazing topic, because so many of us battle with, should I carry the load? And yeah, should you? So I'm asking you, on a profession, a personal, should you carry it, Dr. T?
Absolutely not.
Oh, okay. She said, didn't even think about it. She didn't even think about it.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. My thing is, I will be there to assist you as you need it, but I am not carrying your burdens.
Okay, I get
You
that. And
know, I
I
mean, because my thing
agree.
is, what is for you,
Yes.
and I'm
Yes.
not doing it.
Yes. What tips do you have? Do you have any tips for our viewers? One or two tips of how they should not well, if they were to get in a situation
Hmm.
where he come to load, what
Hmm.
tip do you have where they can be supportive and not become a sponsor?
Well, the first tip I will give is number one, communicate. Talk to them about what is going on. See what's happening and see if there is a way that you can sit down and be able to navigate a solution to whatever problem there is that they're experiencing, so that you don't feel like you're basically becoming their mother or becoming their father, or feeling like you're doing more than what's asked. So you have to definitely keep that lines of communication open. That's my first tip. My second tip would be, you know being able to, if it's a situation where you have to give no, just being able to know that, the next opportunity does matter, and that you're able to handle what you need to handle, and just do it diplomatically. You know what I mean? Don't belittle them, when you're, trying to tell them no, that you're not going to do whatever they're asking you to do, but just be diplomatic about the whole issue at hand, and just being able to be a little sympathetic to what's going on, because sometimes people, will, say things and feel some type of way, and they will move on and go to the next individual because of feeling like, okay, well, when I needed your support, you wasn't there for me. And it ain't that you wasn't trying to be there for them. It was just that at that moment, you mentally was not there, that you just really was not in the capacity to do what needed to be done, or couldn't be there, but just being able to, continue on with that dialogue, so that the person does understand. Again, you want to be support. You want to be supportive. You don't want to be support, because being support can be a burden. It can be stressful. It could be toxic. It can be a whole number of things, so just watch your mannerisms, watch your wordage when speaking with someone about this topic, being, and what you want to be able to identify your role. What about you, Dr. Candace?
Absolutely. I love that. I totally agree with all of that. That you said it all. I only got two things. Absolutely. Because that was beautiful. Yes. Mine is stay in your lane. I'm talking to the everybody out there, talking to the ladies especially, talking to the men as well. Stay in your lane. Don't overcompensate. So when I say stay in your lane, give from a comfortable position. Don't alter who you are to try to help your loved one, because you're going to make the situation even worse. Whatever your partner may be going through and they need your help, give from a comfortable position. If you can give and you want to help, and it won't be a liability to you, go ahead and do that. That's I believe in asset liability. It means more than just credit, y'all. You need to say, wait a minute, is this going to be a liability to me? Like if someone was to come to you and say, yo, you've been dating maybe 3 months. Let me give you an example. Y'all know I'm an example chick. You've been dating somebody maybe 3 months, and they say, well, I need another car because my car is total, or my car messed up. I need another car. Can you co-sign for me a car? Wait a minute, that's a liability. I said get it from a comfortable position. So you may want to get them on the Uber account, maybe loan up 500 so they can get something to drive. Maybe ask them, wait a minute, help research something on the internet where they can get a car where the credit is bad. I don't know what your credit look like, but these people will be able to help you. You can find resources. Give from a comfortable position. Do not give where you alter who you are and it start to affect your mental and your physical state. That is my tip. You don't want to do that. And my second tip is, like Dr. T said, I'm going to piggyback on that. You want to be supportive. you don't want to be a sponsor. If the show cannot go on without you, please sit down and have a conversation and say, let me just ask. Especially, we talking about partners here. Say, babe, hun, whatever you call them. What would you do if I wasn't here? Hey, look at that, because you know your partner. So allow them to be great as well. Allow them to use their resources. So be supportive and not a sponsor. And don't forget, give from a comfortable position and stay in your lane and look at the asset and liability. If it's going to cost you your job, your peace, your energy, your physical and mental state, that's a liability.
Right.
That ain't no asset. Yes, so those are my tips. This was a great topic.
It was. This was an awesome topic.
Yes. This is the Mental Health Minute. Yes, we're going to bring more amazing topics like this to you, because these are these taboo topics that are not talked about a lot when women show up, even men too. A lot of the brothers are showing up and they're giving and giving and giving, and she's sitting there like, oh, he'd do it. It's one thing. He's like, wait, you taking advantage of my love. Whoa, wait a minute. And Christmas time coming up. Like, don't take advantage.
Don't take advantage of my love, not today.
Yeah. So, you don't have to pick up. So what Dr. T and I brought today is that this is my final thought. You do not have to carry the load. You can lighten the load. There you go. You can lighten the load for your partner. You don't have to carry it.
That's right.
Everybody got their cross to bear. They can carry their own cross. Carry that cross up the mountain. I help you. I mean, if you want to, lighten it, that's okay. But you don't have to carry it because you have your own. That's my final. What's your final note, Dr. T?
My final, look, you said it all for us, because the bottom line is you don't have to, take on somebody else's burdens. The bottom line is just being able to help them in a healthy way. It's always healthy ways to help people without you consuming and taking on their problems. Just being able to, again, communicate. And my word for the day is just sitting back, relax, and be a help, not a hindrance.
Love it. Help, not a hindrance. I love that. Absolutely. Yay. I love it. So I hope everyone enjoyed this broadcast. Please share the broadcast and just get it out there and just continue to watch us. And again, we are the Mental Health Minute, and I am Dr. Candace Elaine.
And I'm Dr. Tyra Gardner. Want you all to have a fabulous, fabulous day. And we'll be getting back with you again next week.
Yay! Bye, everybody.